Hello, this is Clayton. I just got back from watching the new Lion King movie. Now, The Lion King, as everyone probably knows, is one of the most iconic Disney films of all time. Everyone knows all the songs, all the characters, all the comedy, drama, and the good times they had with the original film. As well as it being one of the highest grossing animated film of its time, and what marked the peak of the Disney Renaissance. So this remake happens to basically recapture everything that made the original film what it is, but that's also its biggest problem on top of it being its biggest strength. If you've seen the story for The Lion King, you pretty much know the story for this one. The King Mufasa, voiced by James Earl Jones again, is trying to teach his young son Simba about what it means to be the king of the Pride Lands. But his evil brother Scar, played in this version by Chiwetel Ejiofor, decides to team up with the hyenas to claim what he believes is rightfully his place as the king. So, during a stampede where he makes Simba believe that he's responsible for causing it, he kills Mufasa and exiles Simba, causing him to run into Timon and Pumbaa, a warthog and a meerkat, who try to get him to have no worries. But his childhood friend Nala, voiced by Beyoncé, tells him he's got to go back and reclaim what's rightfully his by beating Scar, who's forcing the hyenas and the lionesses of the Pridelands to overhunt. Now, if you've seen the original film, there's almost no real changes to the story of this film. There's a few extra lines here and there, there's a few changes to the song lyrics, and Shenzi, the main hyena, has a bigger role this time around, but aside from that, most scenes are shot for shot the same, which is something I would expect when it comes to a story that's this impressively epic. You don't want to make too many changes, but it does feel like it doesn't make enough to make it really stand out on its own. I do appreciate the technical prowess that went into the film. The whole thing is filmed like a nature documentary that just so happens to have dramatic music and good actors for these characters. I mean, Chiwetel Ejiofor is a great replacement for Scar. James Earl Jones is always going to be iconic as Mufasa. Seth Rogen actually does work for Pumbaa. And Beyoncé, not on top of having a good singing voice, isn't too bad when it comes to her acting. But it does feel like a lot of the scenes of the film are kind of, well, soulless. They lack the spontaneity and lack the overall charm that the first film had. Now, we could say that for a lot of the Disney remakes, but it definitely feels apparent here especially given how the director Jon Favreau was able to inject so much more charm into the Jungle Book remake, and it seems he was just unable to do so here. Mainly because a lot of the scenes, despite looking technically impressive, especially for CGI, that a lot of the scenes just feel copy-pasted. And even though I would like to say if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I would like to see some things change. Dumbo had its entire story changed, for the most part, for its remake. Aladdin at least added some parts for Jasmine to make that one stand out. Alice in Wonderland was like a pseudo-sequel for its version. This just feels like they copied the script from the original, wrote a couple of things different, and just called it new. On top of that, the songs are, while most of them are well done, and most of them are faithful to the original, a few are disappointingly cut short. For example, Be Prepared, which is one of my favorite villain songs, barely lasts above 2 minutes in this version, and a lot of the best parts of it are cut out, which is unfortunate given that I always thought that was the best song of the original film. In contrast, I actually felt that Hakuna Matata went on just a bit too long. I mean, I understand everyone loves Hakuna Matata, but it does feel like they overplay certain moments in comparison to the original. And also, if you didn't like how the message was played out in the original film, they don't really change a whole lot from that in the remake. I mean, I would have liked to make how the message was taught better in that film, but it strictly abides by the original through and through. So if you liked the original Lion King, you'll definitely enjoy this one. But if you're looking for something new, something to change how you feel about it, this one definitely doesn't change a single thing. That's meaningful, I mean. So I give The Lion King a 7 out of 10. See you next time.